Greetings mortals, Brimthen here, and today I want to teach you how to get started on Star Citizen. This is intended for new players that really haven't touched the game before. Maybe you haven't even signed up with the game yet, and if you're considering signing up, please consider the referral link that's down below. It allows me to get further into the referral process. It also gives you 5,000 UEEC to spend when the game gets released, and for the time being, you'll never lose that UEC even during wipes and whatnot. This sticks with your account. Here's the star code that I have. Feel free to use it on your sign up. That is the only time that you can use it, is during sign up. Biggest suggestion to people that's getting into the game is download this game on an SSD. It is extremely long load times if you don't. An SSD is almost required for this game. I'm going to be making a series of videos dedicated to how to play the game and the more advanced topics where I break it down into simpler, more detailed explanations of what to do. Of course, everything is subject to change. This game has been in alpha for 8 years, and it's got patches that come out all the time. So things are subject to change, and I will put those changes in a pinned comment down below, or make an entire update video dedicated to it. But let's get it started. It is your first day on Star Citizen. You don't know what to do. You want some guidance. Let's get into it here. The first thing that I want you to do is start out in Arena Commander. So it's your first day on Star Citizen. The too long didn't read explanation of what we're doing here is going to go through Arena Commander to get familiarized with our ship, get out of our ship, fly around it, really take in the beauty of the game for just a moment, because you just purchased it. It's like buying a car. It's a big deal, in my opinion. And for a lot of people, buying a ship in this game is very much akin to buying a car. You want to see what your investment went into. So fly around, look at your ship, get used to flying, get used to flying around as just a person. Land up and down. There's a few, 4 landing pads that's there. Don't try landing on the asteroids. They're pretty glitchy. And then after you've gotten familiarized with your ship, you've gotten familiarized with the controls and stuff, go over to Star Marine, not to play it, just to set up a loadout, because the current inventory system is designed around armor, and your armor holds your weapon, and you have to set up your stuff in the persistent universe similar to Star Marine, which is subject to change, because next patch is going to be personal inventory and things will change on that. So check the pinned comment if I have anything on that. Then you're ready for persistent universe. So let's get into the first bit of that, which is Arena Commander. So first things first, go to the main menu here and select Arena Commander. And once you get Arena Commander opened up, go over to the single player option right here. I want you to select the game mode as Free Flight and then choose between the two maps. Dying Star is this literal dying star that is very reds and contrasty blacks. And then you have Broken Moons, which are these bright whites and blues. I personally like Broken Moons, so that's where I'm going to go. Hit select/rent a ship. I don't suggest renting ships until you're ready to start buying ships. Make sure that you use your rental money on things that you're actually planning on buying in the persistent universe, because this is a great resource to have to practice ships. So for example, I rented the Hurricane here because I'm actually considering buying a Hurricane, but I also rented an M50 Interceptor and want to see which one I want first, because they're both a couple million, and I want to make sure that I buy the things that I'm going to like. But for this video, we're going to be talking about the Aurora MR, which is what you're probably starting out with. If you chose a Mustang, it is completely viable. All of the stuff I'm about to teach today, they're basically the same ship. So anyway, we're going to be using Aurora MR. If you haven't selected it, hit the select ship down here. If it's already selected, this will be grayed out, and all you have to do is hit back and then launch game. If you didn't do this on SSD, this loading screen will take a while, but I want you to take your hands off the keyboard and mouse, because you're already parked and you're already stationary and you're not moving. So as long as you don't touch anything, you're not moving right now. But if you have accidentally pushed the mouse a little bit, you may be drifting or even spiraling out of control at this point. Just regain control of your mouse. You don't have to push anything with your keyboard right now. And take your little cursor that's on the screen here and put it right to the middle of the crosshair. This cursor is where the ship is going to start moving. And I want you to understand, with everything in this space game, where you want it to go isn't where it's currently going. or is where it's currently going. It's not going to immediately go there. So if I move my mouse over to the left, it's got to catch up with my mouse. It's never going to be right immediately there like you would in a shooter game. Like if you got your gun in a shooter game, you could immediately move it over and start shooting. But in this game, my front takes a second to get over there. It's not where my cursor's actually at. It's where the crosshair's at. So there's this little bit of lag, and you've kind of got to get used to that kind of dragging motion. But if you ever want to stop movement in any direction, just take your mouse and put it right there on the middle of that crosshair. If you're currently moving forward, you may want to check on your keyboard, because that means your W key's sticky or something, because it's trying to kind of throttle forward. What I want you to do in that response is take your finger, put it on your scroll wheel button, and just scroll wheel down until the box that's right here moves all the way down to the bottom of the line there. Once it's down there, pushing W isn't going to make you go forward, except very, 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 very slowly, like 1 mile an hour or something like that. But what I'm trying to get you to do is to stop your vehicle. Once you think you're stopped, just press the X key, and that will put your space brake on. The space brake isn't going to slow you down, so don't use it to try to slow down, but it will keep you parked if you're parked. It's more like an emergency parking lever. So, now that you are parked and you are not moving, press and hold the Y key to get out of your ship. This will give you a little animation of your character getting out of the chair, and once you're out of the chair, we are officially in a first-person kind of game, and this should be more familiar to most players that are used to playing like FPS shooters and such. You also can press the F4 key to go into a third-person mode, and you can press and hold the Z key to move around the camera to look a little bit better and take a look at yourself. Press F4 again to go behind your character, and press F4 again to go back into first-person mode. Look over to the left or the right at either of these doors, press and hold F, and it will bring you into a point-and-click adventure game. This is how you interact with most things, like getting back into your pilot seat, laying down in the bed of the Winnebago back here, or interacting with doors. What I want you to do is just click open door. I don't like using exits because the Aurora is a little bit bugged, but hit open door, and that will cause the door to open. Let go of F, and then you'll just kind of drift out if you want it to. Press and hold the W key just to kind of walk out. I accidentally used the exit function, but that's okay. And then what I want you to do is get used to flying around as a person. And the reason why I say this is because the controls that you use out here in space is the same as the controls you're going to use in your ship. So Q lets you barrel roll. Space lets you go up. Control lets you go down. Looking around with your mouse key. WASD. And you just kind of use the controls you would do in creative Minecraft, for example. But you also gain the benefit of doing barrel rolls with Q and E. So if you're used to things like creative Minecraft, this should be pretty self-explanatory and easy to get used to, but you just gain the extra benefit of doing your little Q and E barrel rolls. Take a look at your ship. Really take a moment to read some of the stickers that's on the ship. There's a lot of small details that you would be surprised about. For example, these missiles here have these really tiny stickers that are warning labels that you can read at high quality settings and such. But it looks like I'm not going to be able to right now. Dang it. Nope. My settings are a little bit lowered right now because I am currently practicing dogfighting and I wanted a little bit more FPS. But for some people, you'll be able to read some of the stickers that's around here and all that kind of jazz. Really get used to flying around the ship. Get familiar with what the ship looks like and what your investment is that you paid for. So now let's get into the ship. The Aurora is pretty friggin' buggy, and I really suggest just opening the door and flying on in. Kind of get yourself situated and then just push the W key. Your character should fall over sometimes. You may trip on the entrance. If you've done it correctly like I just did, you'll just walk right in. But if you fell over, just take your hands off the keyboard, let your character stand himself back up. All right, let me close the door. And now we're ready to start flying. You want to lay down in the bed, that's up to you, whatever you'd like to do there. So let's go ahead and enter the pilot seat, and we're going to start talking about some camera controls. So first things first, once you're back in the seat, make sure your ship's not moving. Again, use your cursor to get it back down into the middle. You know, press X to space brake, get your throttle that's down here all the way down to the bottom, and all that kind of jazz. To zoom in on things like I'm doing, you press and hold F and then just scroll wheel up and down, and it'll let you zoom in. When you are in this mode, it won't move your vehicle any at all. So if I took and removed F, it'll start rotating me. And then if I go into F, it'll keep rotating me. So understand that you need to move your cursor back to the middle and then hit F in order to actually look around and do the things like I'm doing here. Next, I want you to press F4 and then press and hold Z like we did before to look around your ship. If you don't press and hold Z, just like doing F, your vehicle will start to move. And if you start moving in this camera because you weren't holding down Z, press F4 and just move your cursor back to the middle. Then press F4 again, press and hold Z, and you got yourself looking around your ship and checking things out. Another thing you can do is press and hold Z and press and hold F4 and zoom in and out to get a better look at the ship at different angles and distances. I use this a lot for landing purposes. I'm going to put my camera right here at the back of the ship and then press F4 to get back into the pilot ship. Now we're ready to finally start flying. It's been 10 minutes and now it's time to actually start flying. So, first things first, just get used to your mouse and getting used to dragging the ship around and looking around. Get used to barrel rolling a little bit and just leave yourself kind of sitting in one place, getting used to looking around. Maybe shoot your lasers a few times. Here in Arena Commander, it doesn't matter if you're shooting your lasers. It doesn't matter if you wreck and blow up or any of those kind of things. Just get used to your mouse and getting used to feeling that kind of pulling motion. Then when you're ready, take and mouse wheel up to cause this box to go up. Don't go into the red just yet, because right here in this little blue/white, I'll be referring it to white from now on, is called your mobility area. The further into the red you go, the harder it is to maneuver your ship, and really the red is only used to go in straight lines. You can't really turn corners and stuff very well because your momentum carries with you. So I want you to take and mouse wheel up until that box is just barely under the red, just like I did right there. That is now where your thrust is set to. So when you press W, you'll see this little line right here. This little arrow shows what your current momentum is. So if we push up on the WASD, press W on WASD, it will start pushing that arrow up to meet where we've lined that box up. If I move the box, it will keep trying to chase the box to put us where we're at. If we press C, it will put on cruise control and you'll see this new little icon. So the box is to show our current thrust level. The arrow is to show our current movement or momentum. And this little arrow with a line on top is cruise control. And then it shows how fast we're going right here. Now, this spot right here is fast, but it is not going to look like it's fast because objects in space are larger than you, and it takes a while for you to get to these things because there's such a massive distance between you and the object you're going towards. So it might look like you're going slow, but you really, really aren't, because as soon as you get to that object, you're going to see real quick how fast you pass that object up. Just give this a check right here. And look how big this object is compared to us as we kind of pass it up. But look how fast we're going by it. This is a lot faster than you think. So there's nothing wrong with being in the white right here. You don't have to go into the red. But now, going super into the red makes it very hard to turn. So check this out. You're going to see that I'm still traveling past the rock, even though I'm trying to turn away from the rock. This high of a speed makes it very hard to turn and stop traveling in the direction that you're going. So what I want you to get used to is how fast the ship is going, how fast it turns at different levels of thrust, and just getting used to moving around. And to do that, get it right there at the white, press and hold C, or press C to activate cruise control, and then using your barrel rolls and moving around, try navigating through here. If you end up wrecking a few times, it's entirely okay. But just get used to kind of traveling around the space station here, because as you see, we're going very fast, but I am able to actually maneuver the ship through tight spots and making it look like, you know, like I know what I'm doing, even though I'm like just kind of fiddle-faddling around. And even I'm going to wreck and mess up. So just kind of practice getting used to moving your ship around. It's entirely okay to do the same thing, but with asteroids. One of the first things I did when I got in here was spinning around an asteroid like 2 or 3 times and just got used to kind of floating around. Even though it looks like we're moving slow. Let's hit F and go in, or F4, and then kind of zoom back out so we can see the back of the ship a little better. And then what I want you to do next is navigate towards some of the landing pads. They look like this right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're traveling in a straight line, it's entirely okay to go into the red. But just understand that you need to slow down before you get here, because you will just keep carrying your momentum and potentially wreck into something. The easiest way to slow down in this game is to press and hold S, because S puts your thrusters pointed the opposite direction and will slow you down. So I'm going to go max speed towards number 1 here, and there's a chance that I'll wreck here because I'm not perfect at this or anything, but I'm going to take my hands off, and roughly where I think it's a right time to go, I'm going to try to slow myself down, and see, I can't because I'm going too fast. So you want to slow down a lot sooner than what you think in your mind, because it's very easy to just wreck into things at a really fast speed, especially in bigger ships and slower ships, because their momentum carries a lot further than these smaller kind of light fighter ships. The lighter and more agile a ship is, the easier it is to stop it kind of on a dime. And now I can't really find where the landing pad things are. Let's see if I can find them again real quick. But just get used to flying around, and then go find the landing pads and do a landing. So I'm going to be a little bit slower. I'm going to take off my speed, drop it down to the white again, and slow myself down with S. And then once I've kind of slowed down, then I'll push W and just kind of come in at a little bit slower of a pace. All right, for your first time landing, you have to press the N key to bring out your landing gear. So I pressed N, and you can look over here on the left to see if Vtol's on, if coupled mode's on, if ESP is on, or if gear is on. And all of these little screens right here actually do something, and you may want to kind of navigate and look around. The most important one is hitting menu and going to comms so that you can see your friends list, because this friends list is also how you hail space stations in order to land at space stations and them open up hangars and stuff for you. But there's a whole bunch of information like your power grid, the various items, and where your power is kind of messed with. For the most part, don't mess and touch with these. I'll make a separate guide about all of your interface and the things you can do with it later down the line. But for right now, let's make sure our landing gear is on. So I can check over here. I see landing gear is on. We're going to move closer to landing pad 1. I'm going to slow down as I get there. Notice that I'm putting my box... notice how I'm putting my box lower and lower to slow down my speed when I get over here. What I like to do is kind of get roughly where I'm at, then press F4, move my camera to where I can see a little bit better, zoom out a little bit, and then I like to go above it to kind of angle myself correctly from above, and then I like to look at myself from the side. As you can see, I need to angle up just a little bit. Now you can see I'm parallel with the ground, and then I press Control to slowly let it descend. And it is okay to be very slow at this process. It is better to be slow and accurate than it is to crash and burn, especially in the persistent universe. So there you go. We have officially landed. What I want you to get in the habit of doing is pressing U to turn your power off and then pressing Y to get out. Because you want to turn your ship off and then get out and then go store it in the persistent universe. I'm going to open the door. I'm not going to use exit right. I'm just going to step out. And now we have some gravity, and it should feel like your usual kind of first-person shooter style game where you're just kind of out here kind of moving around. And this lets you look at the ship in gravity, get a feel for what it looks like getting in and out. And a pro tip for the Aurora, it is very glitchy getting in here. You want to kind of ease up on the menu and then click enter ship. If you don't do that, you will glitch through the ship or through the top of the ship and have issues. That right there is basically the easiest way to, because I'll give you an example here. Here's me getting in the ship from an incorrect angle. And now my character will clip through the entire ship and come out the other side. It's just kind of some alpha bugs. The Aurora is just kind of that way. It's also possible to get up on top of the ship by entering and then doing some weird stuff like this, where you can kind of glitch around through the ship and get kind of above it sometimes, which is kind of funny on its own right. Or you get stuck and die in weird places. So be very careful with how you enter this ship. It can be very, very buggy. And I'm going to have to... oh, nope. I'm fine. I just got onto the top of the ship, which is a kind of cool thing that you can do, as you can see. But just getting used to getting in and out of your ship, taking off and landing, all that kind of jazz is important. So we're going to enter the ship the correct distance away, let the animation kind of take its own toll, press and hold F to get back into the pilot seat, and then we're going to take off with the Aurora, which is very easy to do in the Aurora. It's a lot harder in some ships because you got to give it a little bit of boost every now and then. But literally just press the U key. Optionally, you can press and hold F and then look over at open exterior, press to unlock. There's a flight ready and a power on and off button. And there's like little buttons. You can hit switches and stuff in here to turn the engines on and off. You can do all of it from just like interface, or you just press the U key. And as soon as you hit the U key, you're ready to go. Just press shift and it'll take you off. Then try to go up to about a 45-degree angle, press the W key, and go into the red and practice taking off and trying to leave atmosphere. Because that's basically how you would leave atmosphere, which we'll talk about more in the Persistent Universe episode. Take some time, get used to your ship, really feel comfortable with it, fly around the space station, fly around and really feel like you understand what your ship's able to do. A few things that I haven't really talked about is Vtol. Vtol, you press K and it will basically fight against the gravitational forces of a planet. It's not useful in Arena Commander, but it really helps when you're trying to land on planets with high atmospheric pressure, because if you don't turn Vtol on, you will just start dropping like a rock and you won't be able to really get yourself back up off the ground because the planet's literally sucking you into the ground. So we turn on Vtol with K and it lets us kind of fight back against it and land properly, is the idea. All right, one last thing, and that's the Star Marine loadout section. Head over here to Star Marine. It's the middle button right here. You don't have to play a match of it because there's a lot of people that don't play this portion of it. All you have to do is hit loadout customization right here, and then this pops up. You will have some bugs where the weapons get really big on your character sometimes when you equip things. Just understand that that is a graphical bug. Don't worry about it. Like this part doesn't really matter that much. But what I want you to do is, if you already have a setup, go in here and unequip your undersuit. Pick yourself out an undersuit. I'm going to select my Lamont undersuit right here. As you can see, the undersuit lets you put armor on, and you want to do undersuit, then armor. So we're going to select a helmet. Let's see. Can I put my armor on from the actual persistent universe? Or yeah, I do. Cool. So I'm actually going to just equip what I wear in the persistent universe. So I got my helmet on. I'm now going to put myself a piece of armor, torso armor here. Here's my Riptide core armor. Let me go get my other Riptide pieces if I can find them. That's the real problem, is whether or not I can actually find some of these pieces. So they're all the way at the bottom just before rentals, which I don't suggest renting armor. That's kind of silly. But once you have your armor set up, and you can, heavy armor lets you basically take less damage than medium or light, but you're a lot slower. So if you want to run faster but die faster, go with light armor. If you want to mix between the two, go with medium armor. Also, the heavier armors are able to withstand higher temperatures and lower temperatures. So if you plan on going to hot or really cold like moons or planets, you may want to invest in some heavy armor. Weapons. This is where things get a little bit weird, and it's not like anything else in most games. And I'm actually going to remove my face cam real quick here because I want to show what this looks like. So I like the FS9 LMG. I like the P4 AR rifle, which is a mixture between the AK and an M4. The Custodian is really good for SMGs. The Tarkov sniper rifle is really good. The laser weapons, the Demonico LMG and the Gallant rifle are really good. Lasers go through armor a little bit better or whatever, but like the ballistics, in my opinion, are better. It's just really kind of preference. I don't like any shotguns, but there are some people that do. It's really just like play test with some weapons and see what you like. But for me, the FS9 is one of the best weapons in the game, and I will die on that hill. I like putting a Delta 1 sight on it. I like putting the Scion compressor on it and putting a filled light on the bottom. My secondary weapon that I usually go for is the rocket launcher, because I'm a pilot, and if I have to get out of my seat, some crap's going down. So I have heavy armor and like really heavy weaponry, because as a pilot, if I'm getting out of the seat, there's some bad things going on. Like, I don't really need to move a lot. I just want to blow the crap up out of everything that's in front of me. So that's kind of the decision making I do here. I don't know if the rocket launcher's actually here on Arena Commander, so I'm just going to put my fancy sniper rifle right there. I like with my sniper rifles to use the 16 times scopes, and particularly the Omnarf, which is my favorite Redicile, or I'm bad with words right now, whatever. Omnarf, I just like the how it looks inside the can. Filled lights, and oh, I can't pick multiple filled lights here. That's fine. You can do that in Persistent Universe. Pretend that's a filled light. And then my sidearm is my very nice, super special golden executive edition pistol that I have to go for here. So I'll put me on a Delta sight because that's what I like. And then Scion compensator along with the filled light. And then right here's where it's really funky. So I give myself my primary weapon, like the FS9, multiple magazines worth of it. And then my secondary less than that. And then my sidearm only one. So I'll go down here to magazine 8 and put an arc light battery, which is right around here somewhere. Arclight pistol battery, which has like 60 shots in it, so I'm not really worried about it. And then I'll give myself, I got to give myself the sniper rounds for this, so that's fine. Sniper round magazine, I'll give myself about 3. That would represent my rocket launcher usually on mine. Sniper rifle again. And then sniper rifle one more time. And then I would do all FS9 ammunition for my LMG, because my LMG eats up a lot of ammo, so I need a lot more magazines with it. And that is all my magazines done. My utility item is my knife. And then if you go over here to miscellaneous, you will see the consumable options. So I go for about 3 med pins, followed by an oxygen pin. For Arena Commander, you can do 3 med pins, or 4 med pins, because you really don't run out of oxygen too often in the FPS game mode. But I'm going to do, for the purposes of this video, like that. And then if you want consumables, or you have any consumables, you know, throw you on some frag grenades or whatever. It really don't matter too much. I'll put on a few different frag grenades here, just to be doing it. And hit save changes and equips, and you are done. But that is basically what it's like to actually set up a loadout in Persistent Universe. So keep that in mind as you go throughout buying items and those kind of things. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. In the next episode, we'll be talking about Persistent Universe and getting around in cities and taking off and landing in the Persistent Universe. Thank you. Oh yeah, before I forget and before I leave the video, big suggestion is to go over to Arena Commander and try out the other game modes, such as racing, the Vandal Swarm, and practice like fighting. Like the Vandal Swarm, you get to fight a bunch of things. Pirate Swarm, you get to fight a bunch of things. And then the classic race is a great way to test your skill of navigating and moving around. Try out these other game modes as well before jumping into Persistent Universe.